Welcome again to Wilderspool. Today Warrington entertaining next door neighbours Widnes. For this, the first encounter of the league fixtures. Warrington team, fullback, number 1, line. Bishop, 8, Neil Harmon. On first field, 10, Tony Humphreys. 11 and 12, Mark Robertson, Les Davidson. 13, Mike Gregory. The subs for Warrington, number 14, Billy McGinty, and 15, Gary Sanderson. Widnes. The Widnes team, number 1, fullback, Alan Tate. 2, Rick Thackeray. 3, Andy Currier. 4, Darren Wright. 5 is Martin Offia. 6, Tony Myler. And at 7 is David Hume. Number 8, Kurt Sorensen. 9, Phil McKenzie. 10, Derek Pike. 11, Mike O'Neill. 12 is Emulsi Collotto. 13, Richard Ayres. 14 is Barry Dowd. And 15, David Marsh. The referee today is Mr. Simpson and Mr. Brian Simpson. He is from Manchester. Touch judges, red flag, Mr. A. Brown, and on the yellow flag, Mr. Haig. Widnes have won the toss. Warrington to kick off. John Woods to restart, or to start the match. Tony Myler bringing the ball out, taken by Tony Humphreys and Mike Bacon. Inside the Widnes 22. Kurt Sorensen acting halfback. Derek Pike taking the first ball in, tackled by Neil Harmon. Still inside the Widnes 22. Pike playing the ball back. McKenzie misses out Sorensen to Collotto. Collotto still inside the 22, tackled by Davidson and Thursfield. Davidson giving away a silly penalty. Early penalty into the game. Still not a minute old. So, Tate with a kick. Inside Warrington half. McKenzie to restart. Collotto on the charge. Taken low and high. Low and high, Harmon and Davidson. McKenzie. Richie Ayres switching back. Switching back to Derek Pike and again back to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill tackled again low by Harmon. McKenzie. Hume finding Pike out wide. Pike looking to release but unable to in the tackle of Gregory and Roberts. Pike back McKenzie. Sorensen this time. Short side. Big ball over the top to Rick Thackeray. Rick Thackeray slips. It's taken by Paul Williamson. 3 yards inside. McKenzie. David Hume. Wide ball to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill to Richie Ayres standing wide. Richie Ayres taken in the tackle of Roberts and John Thursfield. Ayres now plays the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie to Kurt Sorensen, who flips the ball back to Ayres. Ayres to Tony Myler, and Tony Myler slips the pass to Andy Currier. Andy Currier's got a gap and he's through. Last tackle, he's lost the ball. Widnes with the ball through Alan Tate. Alan Tate up to play the ball. Recount. Mr. Simpson has declared Hume. Sorensen standing still. Taking the ball up. Pushes past Mike Gregory. And taken down by Roberts and Tony Thornley. Acting halfback, McKenzie. McKenzie to Hume. Misses out Richie Ayres. Nice and early. Our commentator is here now. Mr. Bowden has turned up. Almost. Ronnie DeWayne putting the ball to the floor. It's a knock on. Mr. Simpson has declared scrum, Widnes ball and head. Touch judge on. Well, it is Boxing Day after all. A slight altercation between Kurt Sorensen, Widnes captain, and number 8, and Mark Roberts, Warrington, number 12. David Hume to feed the scrum. And feed, he does so. Widnes ball. Tony Myler steps inside, slips the ball back to Richie Ayres. Richie Ayres still holding the ball in one hand, finally brought to ground by David Lyons. 5 yards inside the Warrington half. Derek Pike, short side, slips the ball away to Rick Thackeray. Rick Thackeray again to Andy Currier. Andy Currier puts the ball inside to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill this time, taken by Paul Williamson, just outside the Warrington 22. Phil McKenzie, Kurt Sorensen out wide, taken to ground, losing 15 yards. Emulsi Collado steps off his left foot, sends the ball to David Hume. David Hume loses the ball. Warrington come up through Tony Humphreys. Tony Humphreys to play the ball back to Les Davidson. Les Davidson on a run by himself. 3-yard gain, 3 in the tackle. Collado, Hume and McKenzie, but unable to put Davidson to the floor. He plays the ball back to Thursfield. Bishop, first ball, and puts in a kick 5 metres outside the Widnes 22. Touched by Widnes player, Mr. Simpson declares, so it's Warrington feed and Warrington head. And feed he does. Bishop to Woods. Woods run around. Harmon, no. Thornley giving it back to Woods, and Woods taken to the ground by Currier. Mike Gregg this time. Out wide. Good tackle. Andy Currier. Mike Gregg playing the ball back to John Woods. Woods to Mark Roberts, taken in the tackle by Currier and Darren Wright. Paul Bishop going on a little scuttle himself inside the Widnes 22. Up to play the ball. John Thursfield. Woods. Penalty. Paul Bishop. The game is now 4 minutes old, and Warrington now giving up 2 stupid penalties inside Widnes 22. Co-commentator Mr. Reg Bowden.
Good afternoon, Kevin. How are you? Merry Christmas.
And you, Reg?
Both sides giving everything they've got today. I think Warrington making a few silly mistakes. They've done it in the first encounter with Widnes at Widnes, where they gave Widnes an awful lot of ball, where they should have been capitalising on tries, and they stand off the same way as what they did at Widnes, Kevin.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah,
if we can concentrate on football, yes. Anyway, with the restart, Curtin Sorensen over the Warrington half now. 8 metres inside the Warrington half. Sorensen plays the ball back to McKenzie, Hume and Mike O'Neill out wide. Mike O'Neill taken in the tackle by John Woods. McKenzie still at acting half. Ball played back. McKenzie goes himself, switches inside to Andy Currier. Andy Currier gets the ball away to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill, one-handed pass to Richie Ayres. Richie Ayres, the ball is still back. Kurt Sorensen. Kurt Sorensen back inside to Tony Myler, who's found a gap, puts in a kick. Alan Tate is on the charge and put into touch by Warrington right wing Mike Bacon. Warrington now under pressure. 3 metres out from their own goal line. Widnes throwing the ball about. Typical fashion, Reg.
Excellent bit of football by Widnes. Lovely kick by Tony Myler. It's a good job Bacon was back there to outstrip Martin Offier then.
Yes.
It could have been a try on the cards early on, Kevin.
Mike Gregory comes away from the scrum and loses the ball. Widnes this time, Richie Ayres taking the floor by Ronnie Dwayne and John Woods. Alan Tate at acting half. Looking for the pass, decides to go himself, it wasn't on. So, Widnes now, Warrington under pressure, Widnes with the ball. Derek Pike, solo charge, taking 2 tackles. No, decides not to slip the ball to McKenzie. McKenzie's waiting. And Hume, cross back to Mike O'Neill, picking up Kurt Sorensen on the short side, who puts it over to Martin Offier, who collects the ball. Taken 5 metres now, 5 metres from the Warrington try line. Ball finds Derek Pike. Pike puts it across to Ayres. Ayres to Tony Myler. Tony Myler's got space. Puts the ball across to Rick Thackeray, who's unable to take it. One-handed pass, but he finds he's lost the ball. Good tackle by Tony Thornley and Paul Williamson. Rick Thackeray unable to hold the ball, and the ball goes into touch. So it's a scrum inside the Warrington 22. Feed, Paul Bishop, Warrington head. And it's Warrington ball. So Paul Bishop taken by David Hume and Mike O'Neill. Inside his own 22. Bishop to play the ball back to Mike Gregory. Drops the ball off to Les Davidson, who loses the ball. Widnes now. Richie Ayres out wide, finds Emulsi Collado, who drops the ball, but it's a play on. McKenzie, Richie Ayres. Richie Ayres with a suspect pass. Unfortunate. But again, Widnes throwing the ball about. Martin O'Fire, very unlucky. The pass deemed forward by referee Simpson.
Very slippy out there, Kevin. Warrington lost a couple of balls, early tackles. Widnes trying to throw the ball about like the Harlem Globetrotters, especially in the 22. And, if they steadied down, there could be a bit better result for Widnes. But excellent play by them at the moment. And they're putting Warrington under a great deal of pressure. And Warrington themselves are putting themselves under pressure by losing this ball on the first and second tackle.
Well, the game is not quite 10 minutes old, and I think the stats men across the other side of the stadium would find that Warrington have made at least a dozen mistakes in this first 8 minutes. Les Davidson, 10-yard gain, taken in the tackle by Pike and Sorensen. John Thursfield, Tony Humphries taking the ball up again, taken in the tackle by Sorensen, assisted by Mike O'Neill. John Thursfield acting half. Paul Bishop switching back to the short side, finds Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts has got space. He comes across, Tate to beat. Taken in the tackle both by Tate and Tony Myler. 2 yards. John Thursfield. John Woods with a slow ball. Almost finds Rick Thackeray. Paul Williamson there to clean up. Still going forward for Warrington. Taken in the tackle by Andy Currier and Richie Ayres. Recount, says referee Simpson. Mike O'Neill, Mike Gregory. John Woods, Paul Bishop. Short dummy, takes the ball himself, puts the ball back to John Woods, but unable to pick up possession. Les Davidson through a knock on by Widnes. Les Davidson puts the ball down. Alan Tate scurries away from his own post. Picking up the fumble ball from Les Davidson. Martin Offier acting halfback. Kurt Sorensen on a short run. Finds Darren Wright in space, who brings the ball outside the Warrington 22. Darren Wright to play the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie to Hume. Hume taking the split. Pike takes the ball back inside, slips it to McKenzie. McKenzie slips to O'Neill. And O'Neill goes to the floor, tackled by Ronnie Dwayne. Tony Myler coming across field, puts in a chip. Richie Ayres for the chase, and Paul Williamson, left winger Warrington, falls on the ball with Bishop acting halfback. David Lyons coming into the attack. David Lyons into the attack, 10-yard gain. And a good tackle by McKenzie and Richie Ayres. John Thursfield acting half. John Woods, Tony Humphries on the miss out. Neff finds Neil Harmon out wide. Neil Harmon taken the ground by Emulsi Collado. Plays the ball back to John Woods. Inside the Widnes half. This time Ronnie Dwayne going forward, but tackled by Darren Wright. Put to ground by Darren Wright and Kurt Sorensen. Ronnie Dwayne up to play the ball. John Thursfield. Les Davidson standing still. Taken back, but slightly forward again by Davidson. Playing the ball back to Thursfield. Bishop with a kick. And the kicks come off the charge down of Derek Pike, so it'll be a Warrington head and ball. Reg?
Yeah, Warrington trying to do all sorts of things here, trying to open Widnes up. They're trying to play a bit of flamboyant football where really they should be just tightening up in the first 4 or 5 tackles, Kevin, and starting to use a little bit of the width later on. Both sides trying to throw the ball about instead of test each other. And with so many mistakes happening so early on, anything could happen in the next 5 minutes.
Well, it certainly was that. At the other end, 70 yards up the field, Warrington were under pressure. Warrington came back and through a marvellous run by Mark Roberts, put Widnes under pressure, a half a yard or two off their own try line, only to give up possession and stupid handling mistakes trying to force the pass.
Yeah, I think Mark Roberts done very, very well indeed, and they should have capitalised a little bit. I thought they panicked a little bit when they got near the Widnes line. Instead of calming themselves down and just doing the basics. But as you can see out there, Kevin, it's very, very slippy, the ball. I think that contributes a great deal to the ball handling.
Well, again, that's from one extreme to the other. Now, Kurt Sorensen has just thrown a ball that has gone to ground, which loses possession for Widnes, putting Warrington under pressure. Widnes come up with a penalty from... No, sorry, Warrington come up with a penalty from the scrum. Referee Simpson's not happy that the packs aren't packing down square. So it's a penalty. David Lyons with a big kick, and the restart will be on the 9-metre mark. Les Davidson now with the ball inside, a yard outside the Widnes 22. Kurt Sorensen in the tackle, standing over Les Davidson. Paul Bishop. John Wood switch it back to Paul Bishop. Nobody waiting there, but he's taken in a strong tackle by Emilsi Colotto. Bishop, I don't think you better be taking that on too much. Anyway, Tony Humphrey's out wide. Tony Humphrey's taken by Richie Ayres, and the ball's killed by Mike O'Neill up top. Les Davidson, no, misses out. Les Davidson to Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory misses out. Tony Thornley gives the ball to Paul Williamson. Paul Williamson going forward, taken the ground by David Hume. John Thursfield acting halfback. Paul Bishop puts in a kick. John Woods is in front of the kicker, and that's a penalty. John, even I know you're going to give him 5 yards.
Surprising, Kevin. So many professionals make so many amateur mistakes, don't they?
So many simple mistakes, yes. Alan Tate with the restart, quick restart, and that is a good kick. From inside his own 22, 10 metres out from his own goal line, takes a quick tap and puts in a big kick, which finds Warrington now under pressure, just outside their own 22.
Seems a funny tactic that, Kevin, to take a tap then put it in touch, where you could put it in touch and have the ball back for 6 tackles.
Yeah, well, I think that's still Alan Tate learning the game, isn't it?
I think it's a move that Widnes do, and I just can't understand why, but they seem to do it. They've only once or twice this season.
Well, it seems to be a good ploy. They're okay out of their danger zone, and it's a penalty. Emilsi Colotto not allowing Les Davidson to play the ball, so it's a penalty to Warrington now, 10 metres out from their own 22. David Lyons with a kick. It's a good kick. It's found touch on the 10-metre mark outside the Widnes 22. John Thursfield with a restart. Les Davidson taking the first ball up. Again, tackled by Colotto and Sorensen. Unable to play the ball. Leave him alone, says Mr. Simpson. So Kurt Sorensen now giving away a penalty. Again, silly, Reg. Yeah,
these are the basic mistakes teams are doing, but I think what Widnes are doing, they're trying to close this Davison down. He had such a great game at Widnes and looked like the best forward on the field, and it seems every time he gets the ball, Kevin, there's a reception committee waiting for him. They don't intend him making the 40, 50 yard runs that he did at Widnes, and I think the teams are a bit eager to get there, and with what's happened now is they've given away 2 silly points with being a bit eager.
I think what makes it worse is it's a captain as well, but obviously there is a bit of fire between both packs. Both packs in the last encounter had a very good game, and as you say, Les Davidson coming out the best of the lot. But anyway, Warrington now with 2 points, with a 2-point lead after 15 minutes. Andy Currier to start the game, a big kick, and he's put it into touch. He has put the ball dead, so that's a penalty on the half. He's certainly improved his kicking over the last couple of years, hasn't he, Andy Currier?
Yeah, he's improved a great deal. They've given him a bonus this year for kicking goals and everything. And I don't think it's the money that's made the difference. I think it's just that they've given him the full responsibility instead of swapping the responsibility around.
Right.
And once you know it's your responsibility, you don't have a tendency to panic or start looking for other goal kickers. You get on with it.
Well, I think looking at the Widnes match as well, Reg, I thought that he was very professional in his whole approach to his kicking game. He impressed me. He impressed me as a player over there when I was there anyway, but he was never really a kicker. But I'm very surprised that he has improved so much.
I think what happens is when you go on tour, some players go on tour and they made a better player, and some players come back a worse player, Kevin. I think Andy Curry has come back off tour this year and a twice better player than what he was before he went.
Yeah, so I thought he deserved the tour as well. I thought he came on leaps and bounds in the last part of the season. Anyway, back to the game. It's Les Davidson who drops the ball. It's a short pass by Mike Gregory. Again, the pass wasn't anticipated by Les Davidson. The ball's gone to ground. So it's a scrum. Widnes feed, David Hume, and it's a penalty. Mr. Simpson not happy with the way the scrums are going down. He's keeping them off the mark. They're not listening to him, so it's a penalty straight away, which is fair enough.
I don't think he's having any messing in the scrums today, Kevin. He's any form of triviality, he's pulling them up straight away. He's having no messing about. If the packs are not square, they're not right.
That's fair enough. I think that's fair enough as well. It's hard enough to get to the spot anyway, and then start messing about.
I agree with you.
Outside the Warrington 22 now, David Hume with the ball. Mike O'Neill on a straight run, looking to pass the ball, but no one is expecting it, so Mike O'Neill goes to the floor. Plays the ball back to Mackenzie. Mackenzie to David Hume on a run around. Hume tries to step inside Mike Gregory and Mark Roberts, but they take him to ground. Richie Ayres at acting halfback now on the Warrington 22. Richie Ayres with a pass. Tony Myler throws a dummy and steps inside himself. He's gone. He pushes off 2 passes. Puts the ball back to the ground. Andy Currier comes up, gets away from his man. Rick Thackeray in space now. Goes straight into Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop goes back in the tackle. Rick Thackeray with the ball, but we have a slight difference of opinion. Again, stupid. Let's see who it is. It's Rick Thackeray with the ball now. Paul Bishop again, very unprofessional. Got pushed off by Rick Thackeray in the first instance. Decided he'd go back for the rest of his cup of tea. Fine now that he has given away a penalty 10 metres from the Warrington 22. Andy Currier decides to have a shot at goal to even the score. Very stupid thing to do by Paul Bishop again, Reg.
Yeah, I think he's been in a few of them. He's niggled a few times. Usually fine little fellas have a tendency to start throwing a bit of punching about.
Well, you'd know about that, Reg, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I played against a few little fellas.
Yeah, well, he wasn't too happy about getting pushed off by Rick Thackeray, but it's part of the game. So what we do have now is Andy Currier is taking the ball back just outside the Warrington 22 with the attempted equaliser. Now he's 5 metres in from touch.
All goal kickers say they'd rather have a long distance goal kick for the first one, Kevin, because if it goes over it's a great kick, and if it misses it doesn't really matter. Nobody expected him to get it anyway. Right,
it's a catch-2 situation. Anyway, he's missed, so he doesn't have to worry about that any further. Warrington with a restart, drop out on the 22. John Woods will do that for us. Mr. Simpson on the spot. The kick goes back to Amosi Kalota, but he lets it go. Tony Myler swoops it up, steps inside, and outside is Tony Thornley. It gets away from him, gives the ball to Andy Currier. Andy Currier slips the ball to Amosi Kalota. Amosi Kalota going on a run, taken by Les Davidson and John Woods. Pushed back by 4 or 5 metres. Plays the ball back to Phil McKenzie. McKenzie to the short side to David Hume. Picks up Kurt Sorensen. Kurt Sorensen through half a gap, taken down by Tony Thornley. McKenzie in acting half spot again. Sorensen plays the ball back to McKenzie, to Pike on a run around. McKenzie, oh dear, puts in a ball into Colotto, who was almost taken. Well, he was taken in a tackle by Roberts. McKenzie again. David Hume has dropped the ball. Richie Ayres is in front, but no. Again, it's Christmas, and we have now played 21 minutes. So we're over the first quarter, and someone's going to get a rest.
Yeah, I think Humphrey's a little bit silly, him and Richard Ayres. Just 2 of them on the floor on the ball, and one of them throws the head in. The next thing, the 2 of them up there fighting. A bit stupid, really. I think the 2 of them will go the sin bin.
They certainly have. Mr. Simpson, again, not standing any trouble with the scrums. And I think he's had enough of the altercations that have been outside the scrum. So Richie Ayres and Tony Humphreys get a 10-minute spell.
Looking at Kurt Sorensen, his shoulder seems to be giving him a bit of trouble at the moment, Kevin. Doesn't seem to be right. I think when he fell on a loose ball earlier on, I think he sort of like sprung his shoulder a little bit. If you notice him, he's rubbing it quite a bit, and he's going down quite easy when they grab him around the top of the shoulders.
Yes, well, if that is the case, then the rest of the pack are going to have to pick up there. He's gone back to the second row, Reg, so I think you may be right. Bishop's offside. Mr. Simpson is not happy, he's not retired, so it's a penalty to David Hume. He starts with a quick tap, finds Andy Currier out wide, but there's plenty of defence there for Andy Currier. John Woods, Paul Bishop and Tony Thornley. Andy Currier with the ball, plays back to David Hume. David Hume picks up Pike to O'Neill. O'Neill gets away, outside, a yard outside the Warrington 22. Plays the ball back to Tony Myler. Myler to Pike. Pike on a run around. No, picks up Tony Myler. Tony Myler picks up Rick Thackeray on an inside pass. Rick Thackeray right in under the sticks. No problem at all. Tony Myler showing the ball left, right and centre. finds Rick Thackeray, who finds a channel straight through to the Warrington line. Tremendous try.
Good move by Widnes. Started with Derek Pike, took the ball in, done a run around with Tony Myler giving the ball, come round, he took 2 men on, dropped the ball outside to Tony Myler. Tony Myler cuts across the opposition. Rick Thackeray good enough on his wing to come inside, seen the gap. A lovely back pass by Tony Myler. Fullback couldn't do a thing about that, Kevin. It's one of them things when, especially on a ground like today, it's a bit wet. He went on the inside of him, he couldn't come back, and under the post. Excellent try by Widnes.
Rick did well. He seemed to find the channel that he needed, and it was a clear passage straight through the line, there wasn't anybody there.
Well, when he seen Tony coming across and the defence coming with him, the 3 men coming across, I mean, he couldn't go on the outside, and like a good winger, he came inside and came very well, and it's a lovely back pass by Tony Myler to find him.
It was indeed.
Results in a good try.
Indeed. So Andy Currier now right in front of the sticks to improve the 4-pointer. And does so. So that's an extra 2 points. Widnes in front now on the 24th minute of the game. Rick Thackeray going over and Andy Currier putting over the further 2 points. So the score now 24 minutes into the game. Widnes 6, Warrington 2. John Woods with a restart. Kick going down to Tony Myler. Cleanly taken. Throws a dummy and he gets through the hole, but it's taken by Mark Roberts outside his 22. David Hume. Emulsi Colotto coming in to take the ball and put to the floor by Ronnie Dwayne and John Woods. Plays the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie to Hume. Hume to O'Neill. O'Neill making the ball available. Finds Phil McKenzie. McKenzie to Andy Curry, who goes inside, who's finally tackled by Tony Thornley and Paul Bishop. McKenzie acting half. Back to Alan Tate. Alan Tate with a big kick across field. Down to Mike Bacon on the Warrington right wing. And that's a tremendous kick. And Mike Bacon has taken the ball infield and taken the ball outside. So it's a dropout 22, a dropout under the sticks. Mike Bacon taking the ball into touch in goal. Kurt Sorensen, a replacement for Widnes. David Marsh, the substitute, has come on now.
Yeah, look, there's no way he'd done his shoulder early on, as we said, Kevin, and they've took him off. But what a stupid mistake by the winger, Bacon. Then if it would have gone into dead, it would have been a 25 tap out. Instead, he caught it and run into dead.
Yes, again, Warrington under tremendous pressure again. McKenzie, Pike. He is going to have a field day, Derek Pike. Good tackle by John Thursfield. Is it Dowd that's on?
Dowdy's come on. Barry Dowd.
Yeah, it is Barry Dowd. Barry Dowd is on for Kurt Sorensen. Anyway, Pike running himself around. Yes. Silly. I thought he was going to have a field day. I hope he carries on in that fashion. Mike Gregory with a quick tap, and again, I think, Reg, that was a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, passed it to him while he was in front of him. He was offside. I mean, both sides are making the basic mistakes.
Simple mistakes.
Very simple mistakes. I don't know when it's too much Christmas cheering to both sides of them, but you think some of them have never played rugby league in their lives.
Well, with the fundamental mistakes they are making, Reg, I'm entitled to agree with you. Anyway, it's Dave Lyons with the penalty. Widnes deemed not to be back the 5 metres by referee Simpson. Kick's gone out. 2 metres outside. John Thursfield with the restart. Les Davison, short run, taken inside the Widnes 22 now. John Thursfield acting halfback. Paul Bishop finds Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory takes in Mike O'Neill and Derek Pike. John Thursfield again. Paul Bishop, John Woods. Big ball out to Tony Thornley, who tries to take it but lets it go, stops it with his knees. Finds Michael Bacon from Dave Lyons. Mike Bacon comes inside, slips the ball to John Thursfield. John Thursfield almost over, a metre away. Tony Thornley acting halfback. Finds Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop goes around one man, slips the ball back to Tony Thornley. But again, silly mistakes. Widnes come up with possession. Half a yard off the Widnes line, and Warrington fluff possession. Phil McKenzie out wide, finds Martin Afire. This time, Martin Offia with the ball. able to get a ball around to Mulsi Collado. Mulsi Collado taken down on the tackle by John Thursfield and Ronnie Dwayne on the 22-metre. Right, plays the ball back to Dowd. Dowd to Derek Pike. Pike taken and slips the ball back to Barry Dowd, who scoots up the short side. Taken on the tackle by John Woods and Ronnie Dwayne. Plays the ball back now. Pike to Tony Myler. Warrington not the 5 metres. Mark Roberts feeling a bit tired.
I think Warrington should have made a great deal better than what they did up there then. Well, I think they've picked themselves up with Sorensen going off. It must be a great injection to the Warrington, seeing Kurt Sorensen going off, Kevin. But when Bacon made the break then and passed it on to Thursfield, all they had to do was calm themselves down instead of panicking. Yes. I mean, they had a 7-man overlap, and what did they do? They start trying to throw stupid balls about. I mean, you're never going to win games if you throw balls the way Warrington are doing at the moment.
No, I think I can agree with you that, and I think a lot of our speckies will agree with you on that, Reg. I think we've lost tremendous amount of matches through doing exactly that. Anyway, Widnes with possession. Barry Dowd to Pike. Barry Dowd on a run around. Pike doesn't give it back, so he is tackled a yard off the Warrington 22. Tony Myler with the ball going back to the open side. Picks up Alan Tate coming into the line. Almost got away, but it was taken down by Neil Harmon. Plays the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie scooting himself to the left. Puts the ball back into Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill thinks about taking a drop, but it's a turnover now, 6 tackle. I tend to believe that that's a better tactic than giving possession up from a kick.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better, but I think especially in these conditions, Kevin, you'd be better pushing this ball along the post, along the floor, especially very slippy conditions. You could come away with anything. I'd rather put the ball on the floor and kick it and make them do something with it than just hand it straight over, unless you've got a superior pack and you're winning scrums all the time.
Right, Barry Dowd has only been on the game for 6 minutes. And he is not as happy with something going on over there. Anyway, Mr. Simpson and the touch judge, who is Mr. Haig, he is not happy with what has gone on in that tackle. So Barry Dowd now has been spoken to by referee Simpson. It's a penalty.
I wonder about this Warrington side, Kevin. They don't seem to have any composure at times. You know, they seem to let the hearts rule the heads and play at 100 mile an hour when they don't. You know, they don't seem to have anybody on the field who seems to calm them down and stop the job and say we're doing all right. You know,
I think, Reggie, if you look at the team, they are. I think the average age, displacing John Woods, the average age would be 23, 24. There's no real experience out there other than through the exploits of Mike Gregory. Anyway, it's John Woods with the ball, just over the Warrington side of halfway line. Plays the ball back to John Thursfield, picks up Les Davidson, who's going across the field, runs into the tackle of Mulsi Collado, gets the ball away back to John Thursfield, who loses 5 yards in the tackle of Mike O'Neill. John Woods at acting halfback, finds Neil Harmon on the short side, who finds Derek Pike and Barry Dowd. Harmon up to play the ball back to John Thursfield. Paul Bishop first man. Finds Les Davidson, and Andy Currier cuts the ball off out wide. Is unable to do that, but Les Davidson gets the ball across to Ronnie Dwayne. Ronnie Dwayne to Tony Thornley, who gets the ball away to Paul Williamson. Paul Williamson, taken just in from touch, is able to get up and play the ball back to Tony Thornley. Finds Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop puts in the kick. It's not a very good kick, but it's still in the air. Les Davidson picks up the ball, 2-on-1 situation, and John Thursfield puts in the kick. 2-on-1 situation, John Thursfield and Mike Bacon taking on Martin Othia, but John Thursfield decides to put in the kick.
So the only problem there, Kevin, we found a prop forward stuck in a centre position and didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know whether to go straight, kick it, look for the winger. I think he got a little bit lost, and that's how they ended up with the ball being into touch. I think it was a desperation kick at the end of the day, with it being the last tackle.
Yes. Well, David Hume feeding, not retiring. Well, not retiring. That was Mr. Simpson has given. So Warrington now with a penalty, 5 metres. 5 metres out from the Widnes goal line. Paul Bishop puts the kick back. So the tap comes back 10 metres. The tap by John Thursfield. No, Warrington hasn't gone. And It's a penalty.
Take a goal kick here, Kevin. They'd be stupid to take a tap, really. I mean, they're only 4 points behind. And
well, he's decided to take the tap.
Yeah, they're spreading it across here when there's no one here. Well, I can't believe that when you give a free kick that short to the post. But as I said, Warrington only had sat with Mike Gregory. He's looking, put the ball out to Thornley. He's gone by himself. Throws the ball out wide.
Blundered possession.
It's a 25 tap out, and I think Warrington, I mean, they deserve to get themselves kicked for that, really.
Well, they're again through silly mistakes. Charged down by Mark Roberts. David Hume trying to kick the ball down and get Warrington on the hop, but it was charged down by Mark Roberts and dived on by Derek Pike. Right, this time it's Alan Tate with a kick. It's a great kick. It's a great kick.
You know, I think Warrington, since Sonnensen's gone off, they think they can win this game, and they've done nothing but attack. They put Widnes under a great deal of pressure, and it showed it then with Widnes. I mean, David Hume trying kicking the ball downfield for Martin Offia then, with it rebounding, and Warrington have now got the scrum in their own half, so they've got a chance to come away with head and ball again.
Well, they come away from the scrum with the ball. John Woods going between Barry Dowd and Alan Tate, taken the floor by both. John Thursfield. No, it's Ronnie Dwayne. Ronnie Dwayne with a 3 or 4 metre scoot, playing the ball back to John Thursfield. Neil Harmond, but Tony Myler not back the 5 metres, so it's a penalty to Warrington. And Warrington, again, Reg, once they do get up there and they do get within reaching distance of their goal line, they panic.
Yes, they panic. They get up there quite easily, actually. But a lot to do with a bit of stupidity on Widnes' side with the free kicks and everything, but they seem to be able to break in the Widnes tackles. But when they get there, they just don't seem composed enough to get to that line and close it down a little bit. They think they've got to get that last ball in, either through the legs or over the shoulders, anything to try and get the ball out. And really what they should be doing is just consolidating and putting Widnes under a lot of pressure.
Well, the pass that Mike Gregg threw dead, or that the ball that went through the last attack from Warrington, it was only the 3rd tackle, so we had another 3 to go.
Yeah, and they seem to be taking the ball the wrong side. Where all the men are, they seem to be coming back where there's no one there. Now they've got a free kick under the post. If they don't take this kick, they do need kicking to death. It was offside from the acting half-back. David Hume, Bishop tried playing it to himself. David Hume grabbed hold of him, and he was in front of him when he grabbed hold of him, and it's a free kick. And I think John Woods will have no problem taking these 2 points, which will be closing the gap on Widnes.
Well, it certainly must have given them time to think. I mean, had he kicked the last one, that's assuming he does kick that one, the score would have been 6 apiece.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, especially so early on in a game, if you have a chance, you know yourself being a professional, if you have a chance of taking goals early on, especially when the score's only 6-2, or even if it's 10-2, you keep whittling away at people's advantage, and you start coming back with 2 points and 4 points. I mean, now all Warrington have got to do is score a try and a goal, and next thing they're miles in front of Widnes.
Yes,
You've got to take these goal kicks when they come up.
What do you think with the amount of experience that Mike Gregg and John Woods have got, they would have taken the 2 points?
Yeah, two internationals.
Yes.
But I think what happens with some players, they get on the field and all they do is they just play for themselves and they just play at 100 mile an hour. They don't seem to be able to step back from the game and think as a captain. They don't be able to step back and think for the rest of the team. And other people are doing things and they can't convey what they want to do to them.
Right.
I mean, that's the difference between having a great captain.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Reg. Les Davidson now. Play the ball outside to Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop puts it on a big pass to Paul Williamson, who can't take it, who takes the ball, but he's dived on top of the ball. Paul Williamson has got the ball, got around Andy Curry and Rick Thackeray. Paul Bishop, who throws a bad pass behind John Woods. Mike Gregory, who slips the ball to John Woods. He's got space, taken on Martin O'Fire, turned him inside. He's got Ronnie Dwayne inside him. Tries to get the ball out to Mike Bacon and does so now. And Mike Bacon is over. Mike Bacon has scored in the right-hand touch. The young right wing, Mike Bacon, comes in and scores in his second first team encounter for Warrington first team. He scored a try that John Woods set up for him, Reg. I felt sorry for Martin Offia. He didn't know whether John was going to give Mike the ball, and John took the opportunities, bringing him inside, but he still had, I think it was the Darren Wright who was still able to take Woodsy out, but Woodsy was able to get the ball away to Mike Bacon, who scored in the corner.
Yeah, I think it was an excellent try by Warrington. It all stemmed from down underneath us, Kevin. When Widnes never dropped on a loose ball,
yes,
picked up, and Bishop throws. It just shows what this game's all about. Paul Bishop threw out a terrible ball which picked Mike Gregory up. John Woods come on a loop round Gregory, passed the ball on to John Woods, who went up the field, turned Martin Offia inside out because Offia's looking for him to go to the wing. David Hume was trying to send Alan Tate to the corner to cover the corner off on the winger, and the two of them are looking at John Woods, and all he done, he just went back out to the wing and sent a ball out to Bacon, and really David Hume got there. It was David Hume who got there, but it was just too late, just too short, and a great try by Warrington, excellent try, and all done by John Woods. He went fully 50 yards then to turn the opposition inside out.
Well, he certainly found the space out wide. Dave Lyons with a kick now, putting Widnes back inside their own 22. Rick Thackeray is back there with Alan Tate, but standoff. He's gone now. He's taken in the tackle, still inside his own 22 by Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop and Mike Gregory. Right, Rick Thackeray to play the ball back to Alan Tate. Alan Tate scooting himself, takes 3-4 yards sideways, and taken in the tackle by Mike Gregory and by Tony Humphreys. Plays the ball back now to Rick Thackeray. Rick Thackeray scooting. He comes out his own 22 and almost gets away, but up and down. Again taken by Mark Roberts and Mike Gregory. Mike O'Neill now acting halfback. Sends the pass to Derek Pike. Derek Pike holding the ball up a minute and finding Darren Wright, who's taken in a good tackle by John Woods, and John Thursfield puts the ball back now to Tony Myler. No, it's not. It's Alan Tate. Alan Tate puts the ball back to Michael Bacon, who almost loses possession but comes away with it. Runs into Richie Ayres. Taken down. Plays the ball back to John Thursfield, who finds David Lyons on the short side. But it does a bit of a shimmy on the right-hand touch, and that's half-time. So the score now at half-time through Widnes through a try by Andy Currier. No, the try was by Rick Thackeray, and the goal by Andy Currier. The first points for Warrington coming from a penalty by John Woods, and then a second penalty by John Wood. A try in the corner by Mike Bacon, making the score 8-6. I think Widnes, with the loss of Kurt Sorensen, has certainly lost direction, Reg, anyway.
Yes, they seem to have lost that little bit of momentum in the going forward. They seem to be a little bit stuck for things to do, and I've got with me Mal Aspey, who flew back from Spain, is living in Spain at the moment, and he just said really you can throw a blanket over Widnes when they've got a defence on. I mean, they all bunch together, and even when they've got the ball, they all seem to be bunched together. They seem to lack a little bit of supervision in the middle of the field. I think Tony Myler's got to come out and do a little bit of bossing around this field, you know, because with Sorensen going off.
Again, with the experience that both Tony and Derek Pike have got, surely that job should be taken upon either of them.
Well, I think so.
The same with Warrington, with Mike Gregg and John Woods, but Warrington seem to be more settled in their approach to the game than Widnes now are at the moment.
Well, Warrington look the better side at the moment, Kevin. You've got to remember the chances that they've missed up the far end of the field. I mean, it looks like I've not read the book. I've seen the film on this when we played at Widnes. I mean, they came away from Widnes at half-time with only a 6-point lead, I think it was, or something like this. They've come away here 8 points. They should be at least over 20 points in this first half. And I'm wondering whether Warrington will blow up again like they did at Widnes, and Widnes will come back and take advantage of this. It all depends on, I think, the first quarter of an hour of the second half, whether the both sides settle down and whether Widnes, who can get on with the game without Kurt Sorensen. I know everybody says we're not a one-man team, but it looks to me on the field without Kurt Sorensen we seem a little bit lost, Kevin.
Well, I hope, Reg, not trying to be biased or one-eyed, but I hope for our sakes that that is the case and that Widnes aren't able to come back, because we dearly need the points, and we certainly need a lot of building up with the troubles that we've had over the last. Warrington out, we're waiting for Widnes to come out. With us today, when I say us, myself and Reg Bowden, is Mel Aspey. Mel's been out of the game for almost 18 months now. Mel, have you missed the game? And if so, what's your impressions of today's match?
Well, today's match and what I've seen up to now is the first 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, it was all Widnes. Warrington were very severely under pressure. And Warrington have fought back. Since Sorensen's gone off more than anything, Warrington's fought back and really come back well, and really strong. And I think they're going to take some holding. I fancy them today. But you can never discount Widnes. But what I can't really understand about the game is when we get down under 25, both sides, no one seems to put the nice sliding ball through, so it puts the full back under pressure. You can't pick a ball up in these conditions. So I can't really understand it at all.
Well, let's see if they are able to read your mind. Let's see what sort of tactics they play to the second half. Restart by Andy Currier. Mike Gregg picks up the ball, comes out, and is taken still inside his own 22 by Barry Dowd. Emulsi Collado plays the ball back to Thursfield. Thursfield to Davidson. Davidson very timid at this stage of the game, still inside his own 22. Thursfield acting halfback, goes back to Dave Lyons. The kick in, and it's a big kick. It's a big kick. And it is a big kick. Well done, David Lyons. From his own, inside his own 22, he has put Warrington now on attack inside Warrington 22 with this +3 wind. I didn't really notice the wind in the first half, Reg.
I was just saying which way was the wind blowing, but Widnes have had it in the first half and never kicked as well as what David Lyons did. Excellent kick. The only thing is Widnes have got the head and ball, and they pull the ball out the pack and handed the ball on to Alan Tate. Warrington have taken just short of the 22. It's Widnes' ball, pushing the ball onto Collado. Collado taking on Mike Gregory, looking inside, passes the ball out to Martin Offier, going inside, jinking one way, head-high tackle there, but got away with it by number 12, Matt Roberts. So it's David Ewing pushing the ball onto Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill trying to look to get rid of this ball, but it's good defence by Warrington at the moment, Kevin. Widnes trying to look for Alan Tate to push this ball downfield, I think, in the next 2 tackles. Derek Pike, short ball, lovely ball. Kicks, ball goes to ground again. It's these last passes on both sides that seem to be causing problems with either side.
That was a lovely ball from Derek Pike.
Yeah, excellent ball, but it's Warrington on the move now. And it's a good tackle by Derek Pike. Paul Bishop putting it inside to Davison. Davison had such a great game in the first half. The ball's now gone. It's to Bishop. Bishop looking for Mike Gregory. Picks him up on the outside. Mike Gregory trying to knock one, trying to knock 2 off. Warrington trying to put Widnes under pressure. They're just midway between the 22 and the halfway line. So Bishop again, doing all the prompting. Woods dummying, going again along that far side. Had a great game, John Woods. Started the try in the first half. He took a tap to himself. He's hoisted the ball. It's a difficult ball to take, but taken very well over there by I think it's Barry Dart, Andy Currier. Ball coming across to Tony Myler. Tony Myler trying to straighten it up, just trying to make progress. Gone over the 22. So it's Warrington trying to keep Widnes penned down in the 22. Widnes misses out Collado, picks up Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill stood up. Collado takes the ball in. Good tackling by Warrington. Just an in-joke that, I'm sorry about that. Mackenzie going by himself, turns the ball. Ball's gone nearly to ground, it's gone to ground. It's gone back to Offier picking the ball up. He's put a foot in touch. So he's tackled just short of the 22.
I don't think it was a push, Reg. It was a silly punch sent in by Mike Bacon. Silly swinging arm. Widnes under pressure. No real need to do that. Michael Bacon, for your second game in first grade, come on, think about it. You're in front, you don't need to do silly things like that. He's given up a penalty just outside the Widnes 22. Very unneedy swinging arm. Recipient Martin Offier. Good kick by Tate. Sees Widnes now inside their own half, but 3 or 4 metres inside. Emulsi Collado this time. Runs around Mark Roberts, but finally brought in the centre of the field, brought to the ground by Mark Roberts. Switch back. Richie Ayres bringing the ball back to the short side. Darren Wright and a good tackle by Neil Harmon. Plays the ball back. David Hume is acting halfback and he scuttles away. John Woods now taking Barry Dowd out, and Barry Dowd has lost the ball. That's an offside by Widnes. Tony Myler's not happy with that. It is Boxing Day, Reg, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we're having a few boxes out there. I think, Kevin, there's quite a few punches getting through today. I know it's always a hard match, a derby match between Warrington and Widnes, and it's never been short of excitement, and there's never been short of a few punches. Looking on the days of when Jim Mills played and Mike Nicholas, but these lads are no different. They're all in the festive spirits. They're throwing a few punches here and there. And over the years we've learned to live with this against Warrington and Widnes, and it's part of the makeup, I think, now.
It's part and parcel of the game here, isn't it? Well, play the ball by John Thursfield, a ruck back by Derek Pike, so Widnes have the ball now. Widnes through Mike O'Neill with the ball now, bringing the ball out inside, still inside the Widnes half. Mackenzie acting halfback. David Hume not deciding until late who to pass the ball to. Sends it back inside to Alan Tate. Alan Tate, he's a strong runner, isn't he?
He's a very good runner, very deceptive. He runs from side to side as he goes, Kevin. You know, and you think you've got hold of him, and he moves away from you. But he's a good move by Widnes. They've shoved the ball out, turn back inside. Coloto picks it up. Coloto still going, heading up on the right-hand side of the field. Yeah, he's a very, very deceptive player, Alan Tate. I mean, he's been a capture from Rugby Union this season, well, at the end of last season. He's come into the game and he's learned it very well indeed. And a top professional is Tony Myler going. Turns the ball inside again. But it's good tackling by Warrington. Excellent defence, good cover defence by your lads, Kevin.
Yes, let's hope they can sustain pressure. Mike Bacon now. I think, Mel, someone's been listening to you. With that chip through by Alan Tate, Mike Bacon has put the ball dead, so it's a drop out under the post by Warrington. Widnes throwing the ball around, and I think what they are doing and that they didn't do in the second quarter of the first half was that they weren't going forward. They're going forward now and they're throwing good passes.
Yeah, they were running sideways and they were always looking to pass the ball instead of take the ball on. And that's a fatal mistake in rugby league. You've got to take people on, get through the man before you can release the ball. And that's what Widnes are doing now. And I think Alan Tate's leading from the back. He's one of them who are coming up and going through the men. He just had a good run there. And it's Widnes again on the attack.
Barry Dowd, who continues the attack, taken in the tackle by Mike Gregory and John Thursfield. Martin Offia, acting halfback, sends a pass to David Hume, who misses out Derek Pike. Richie Ayres standing up in the tackle of Neil Harmon and Mark Roberts. Acting halfback, Phil McKenzie. Plays the ball, Richie Ayres. Derek Pike bringing it back to the short side. Gets through and, very unlucky. But very unlucky to Darren Wright, is it? It is, yes. The pass was a half a yard behind. He was through the gap. Warrington ball. Scrum. Warrington feed, Paul Bishop. Paul Warrington with the ball. Paul Bishop scuttling away from the scrum, taken in the tackle of Barry Dowd. And Tony Myler plays the ball back to John Woods. John Woods to Les Davidson. Les Davidson bringing the ball forward. Still has the ball available and throws it back to Neil Harmon, who picks it up off the ground. No support at all. No one's anticipating half a break. Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts on a short scuttle of 3 to 4 metres. Tied up by Richie Ayres. Plays the ball back to John Thursfield. David Lyons with a kick. Puts the kick down. And he sent Rick Thackeray back. Rick has taken the ball, but the ball has gone dead. It's gone into touch in goal, so Widnes now under pressure.
Well, really, Kevin, I couldn't understand that. David Lyons had kicked the ball that hard, it was going to go right through the stand. I mean, there was no reason for Rick Thackeray to dive, jump up in the air and touch that ball. If it would have bounced and gone into dead, it would have been a 22 tap out. I mean, there's no reason to take it. It's just, I don't know, they don't seem to be switched on to this game, some players. I think they're in a different world.
Festive spirit, I think it is, Reg.
Festive spirit, I'd put it down to being an idiot myself.
Well, there's a lot of them out there, I think. Paul Williamson, a good run, 10 metres inside the Widnes half. Tony Thornley now going on a short run of 8 metres. John Thursfield acting halfback. Plays the ball now, Tony Thornley. Neil Harmon taking the ball up and he's found space. He's gone through the tackle of Molsey Coloto, but taken down by Tony Myler. Plays the ball back now to John Thursfield. John Thursfield gives the ball to Paul Bishop, who scuttles back and is pulled to ground by Tony Myler. John Thursfield, John Woods. Mike Gregory out wide, goes back inside. He's still going forward. The ball's available, but no runner there inside the 10 metre mark. Les Davidson acting halfback. He's scuttling. Scuttling, no runners there, and he puts the ball to Tony Humphries. Tony Humphries knocks the ball on in space.
What a lovely ball by Davidson, then took the men out. Just a lovely, but it just couldn't grab all of it, Kevin. That would have been a certain try. Excellent run by Davidson. I've noticed since the packing down, Tony Myler's gone to loose forward and Barry Dowd's gone to stand off. I didn't realise before. I thought Curry had gone into the pack. But it's Tony Myler who's playing loose forward at the moment.
Widnes come away from the scrum with the ball through David Hume. David Hume tackled by Paul Bishop, a yard or a metre away from his own goal line. Plays the ball back to Darren Wright. Darren Wright coming forward, makes 5 metres. Taken in the tackle by Harmon and Bishop. Mackenzie acting half. Gives the ball to Derek Pike on the run. Taken in a great tackle by Tony Humphries. Mackenzie again. Misses out. Finds Colotto. Colotto going across field, and I think... No. Roberts going in for the ball, but doesn't come away with it. Mackenzie at acting half-back. Widnes still under pressure in their own 22. Richie Ayres. A good run across field. He's taking some yards, but still mainly going across field. Andy Currier puts in a kick. David Lyons back there to cover and does so, taking the ball on the run. David Lyons, he's got away from his man. Mike Bacon outside, he takes the inside gap, taken in a great tackle by Darren Wright. Darren Wright, Michael Bacon, Paul Bishop sending the ball wide to Les Davidson. Les Davidson going down the middle, gets the ball away to Ronnie Dwayne. Ronnie Dwayne tackled 8 yards and loses the ball, Ronnie Dwayne. Ronnie Dwayne has lost the ball.
What another lovely ball by Davidson. A beautiful ball, well timed, took the man on and got it to Ronnie Dwayne. It's just pity he couldn't finish it. But there's some mistakes getting done out there. Widnes have dropped the ball now. I mean, both teams have had hundreds of chances of scoring in this match. They just keep dropping that last pass or just keep doing that last silly mistake. And really, we could have had a feast of tries here today, Kevin.
Instead, we had a feast of turkeys. Anyway, Neil Harmon with the ball. John Thursfield, Mike Gregory going back to the short side. Doesn't give it to Tony Thornley. Back to Les Davidson, Paul Bishop, John Wood. John Wood throws a dummy out wide. Tries to go through the middle of Derek Pike and Mike O'Neill. Les Davidson acting halfback. Skirts across, gives the ball to Tony Myler. Tony Myler gives the ball then to Darren Wright. Darren Wright tries to give it to Martin Afire, but the ball goes low. Martin Afire kicks the ball. Tony Thornley picks it up. The ball has slipped away from Tony Thornley and Paul Williamson cleans up. Paul Williamson now. Recount, says Mr. Simpson. Mike Gregory with the first. Martin O'Fire with the tackle. 8 metres now inside the Widnes half. Warrington with possession, but only just. John Woods acting halfback. Tony Humphries on a short run decides not to run too hard, but still makes a gain of 3 metres. John Thursfield acting halfback. Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop scuttles himself. The ball is available, but closed out by Derek Pike. John Thursfield. Les Davidson. Les Davidson making yards. Widnes defence waiting for him. Paul Bishop has the ball. He still has the ball. Final tackle, Mr. Simpson has declared. John Woods with the drop. And hits the post. Hits the post, comes back into field. That's Rick Thackeray. Rick Thackeray, great tackle, and still inside. Great tackle by Neil Harmon. Still inside, but wouldn't get off and let him play the ball. Warrington giving up stupid yardage.
Very unlucky by John Woods. Excellent drop goal, just hitting the post. I think Warrington, if they would have come away with another point from that, Kevin, would have given them even a little bit more strength. You know, they've pressed really hard. And Widnes, when they made the break then, I thought Tony Myler might have put a kick downfield for Offie with the field being so wide open instead of trying to pass the ball out to him. Everybody going backwards. I think Widnes would have come away with a try.
Just looking at the Widnes side now, Reg, they don't seem to be interested in the game. Looking down here at Martin's walking around as though he's on a sunny beach.
Yeah, I think Widnes do get things like this. You know, when things are not going right for them, they have a tendency to start drifting away from the game. And it needs somebody to get a grip of them and start looking, you know, to like Derek Pike can do this. He's got a chance of doing things with her. Just put a short ball in.
He's got a chance of doing things for us as well.
Yeah, it looks that way at the moment.
Yes. Mike Gregory's come away with the ball.
Someone's got to get a grip of the Widnes side and start sorting out, start using the ball. We've not held the ball for more than 2 tackles this half.
Well, that's Neil Harmon who's taken down by Emulsi Colotto. Tony Thornley now coming away from the play the ball and is tackled by David Hume. Mike Gregory, in taking the ball, has come up with an injury. He's down at the moment. But over with the ball is John Woods, who misses out. Les Davidson, who gives it to Mark Roberts, and Mark Roberts finds John Woods again. Final tackle, Les Davidson acting halfback, and he's scuttling himself. Final tackle, and gets the ball out to Ronnie DeWayne. A half a yard, and that's a turnover. A half a yard from the Widnes line. It's Widnes ball. Ronnie DeWayne unable to get across the line and score for Warrington.
This Davidson's doing an awful lot of damage again in this game. Everything seems to stem off him, Kevin. He's taking the ball out wide, running well. He's putting some lovely balls in, and just Warrington just can't seem to capitalise on what is his great work.
They're certainly not anticipating his play. Widnes with the ball. Derek Pike acting up, coming away from the play of the ball. Back to David Hume. David Hume to Tony Myler. Tony Myler steps inside Tony Humphries and pulled to the ground by Tony Humphries by the scruff of his neck. Plays the ball back, Tony Myler. Phil McKenzie scoot. Picks up Richie Ayres in a gap, and a great tackle. That's a great tackle by Paul Williamson going around the bootlaces. Phil McKenzie on a scoot. And Phil McKenzie to Barry Dowd. Barry Dowd back inside to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill now a yard inside the Warrington half. Phil McKenzie acting halfback. Takes it to Alan Tate. Alan Tate puts in a good kick. And now Widnes find themselves from a scrum. They will be inside the Warrington 22. We've got a replacement coming on now. The replacement will be Billy McGinty, I suspect. Billy McGinty, who's going off? Is it the injured captain, Mike Gregory?
13's up, yeah.
Yep. 13's up. But he certainly doesn't want to go off, this lad.
Silly really, Kevin, especially when you're injured in such a tight game as this, 8 points to 6. It's anybody's game. You could cost the game by just not getting in a place where you usually are.
Billy McGinty onto the back of the scrum in place of Mike Gregory. Paul Bishop with the ball. John Woods acting halfback. Billy McGinty with his first run and first tackle by Richie Ayres. Still inside the Warrington 22. Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts going through, tries to slip the ball back to Les Davidson, but loses possession through David Hume with the ball with Widnes. David Hume up to play the ball. McKenzie acting halfback. McKenzie, David Hume acting halfback. Emulsi Collado taking the ball up, steps off his left foot. Warrington under pressure now inside their own 22. Emulsi Collado playing the ball back to Phil McKenzie. McKenzie picks up Derek Pike. Pike going back to the ruck, pushes off one man and gives the ball to Tony Humphries. I'm pleased about that, but unfortunately I guess it's a bad thing for Widnes. Tony Humphries playing the ball back to Les Davidson. Les Davidson, 9-metre gain. Paul Bishop at acting halfback. Les Davidson back to play the ball. Back to Neil Harmon. Neil Harmon on a short run. Taken in a tackle by Barry Dowd and Mike O'Neill. John Thursfield, Paul Bishop. The ball going wide to John Woods. Mark Roberts out wide. Oh, you should have gone wide. You should have gone wide. John Woods, now he's gone wide to Tony Thorley. Tony Thorley going wide, sends the ball back into Paul Williamson. Paul Williamson's in space, puts in a kick, Williamson, and Alan Tate back there to clean up. And he just gets back inside the field of play. Well done, Alan Tate. But a good run by Paul Williamson, a good chip. It's a pity Warrington didn't come out with more. But Widnes in possession now. Widnes on attack. Good tackle by Paul Williamson. Good run by Rick Thackeray. Derek Pike bringing the ball up. Taken in a tackle by Tony Humphries. Gets the ball away. Mike O'Neill steps inside. Gets the ball away to Darren Wright. And Darren Wright with Richie Ayres inside him. Darren Wright is going to score under the sticks. Widnes back in front now with a try, a tremendous try by Darren Wright. Worked right down on their own goal line from Alan Tate. That came from an attack from Paul Williamson on the left-hand touch. Paul Williamson put in a kick. Alan Tate taking the ball, going back over his goal line, and then running out of trouble and eventuating in a penalty or a try at the other end of the field by Darren Wright, putting Widnes back in front now, waiting for the kick from Andy Currier. And that is successful. So the score now, Widnes in front, 12 points to Warrington's 8.
What a seesaw game we've got here, Kevin. An excellent move by Warrington down the left-hand side of the field. Beautiful run by Thornley. Turned the ball inside to Williams. And it's an excellent kick. And I think we just showed today why people are tipping Alan Tate to be the next Great Britain fullback. He took that beautifully with 2 men on him. Turned round and come out of defence. And with Derek Pike driving the ball in, with 3 men on him, he slipped the ball to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill, who shot through a gap.
Honest workhorse, isn't he, Mike?
Oh, great. As you know, you've played with him. He never gives up. He's the most genuine fella you ever meet in your life. Gives you 110%.
Yes.
Pass the ball on to Darren Wright. And really, Darren Wright can scoot on a bit.
He can.
And, just outpace the opposition then. But this is what Widnes can do. They can score from 100 metres, Kevin.
They've got the speed, yes.
They've got about 4 or 5 players who can do this. And no matter how far down they are or whether you think they're down and out, they can go the length of the field. And there's about 5 players who can do it. And that's why they're such a good side this season.
They certainly have got the backs and the speed to, yes, capture any 2 points that are going. Tony Myler now with the ball. Unable to get the ball away. He was looking to get them away, but he didn't. Anyway, plays the ball back to David Hume. David Hume sends it back to Alan Tate. Alan Tate with a big kick, and that's against the wind. Mike Bacon's back there inside his own 22. He just takes his time. Tries to go around O'Fire, but off here takes him down on the tackle. Dave Lyons, Ronnie Dwayne back, bringing the ball forward, taken down in the tackle by Barry Dowd. Plays the ball back now to John Thursfield. Thursfield to Bishop. Bishop to Woods, and there's space outside if they can get it there. The space is there, but Tony Thornley decides, play on, says referee Simpson. Andy Currier comes across for him, puts him to ground. Plays the ball now, Tony Thornley. Paul Bishop, John Woods. John Woods scuttling forward, runs into Derek Pike. And Phil McKenzie plays the ball. Billy McGinty stepping off his left foot, tries to get around Mike O'Neill, but unable to. Mike O'Neill takes him to the floor. Les Davidson acting half. Paul Bishop sending a big pass to John Thursfield. There's space outside. Thursfield to Tony Thornley, and Tony Thornley, with no one in front of him, puts the ball to the floor.
I think Warrington must be a bit demoralised, Kevin. Having gone through this at Widnes and it happening to them again, a few heads must be dropping in the Warrington side. I think they're going to capture anything out of this game. The one thing they've got to do is pick themselves up and go again, because they have been the best side for most of this game. And it's just that I think they've just panicked a little bit at times. That's made them so, they've not got the points.
Yes, Mel has just indicated that what they are doing and what they're not doing is getting deep and running deep under the ball. So they're putting themselves under pressure by taking the ball flat, and they're not gaining any yardage.
It's anybody's game at the moment.
Well, John Thursfield, Neil Harmon now on the charge. Neil Harmon, a good gainage. A very good yardage gain, Neil Harmon. Plays the ball back to John Thursfield. Paul Bishop missing out. Les Davidson finds Tony Humphreys, and Tony Humphreys finds Emulsi Colotto, Derek Pike, and David Hume. John Thursfield to John Woods. John Woods to Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts going back inside, but the defence is good. Mark Roberts held up. Plays the ball back now to John Thursfield. John Thursfield, Ball Bishop to Billy McGinty. Billy McGinty's got nowhere to go, but he still makes 4 or 5 metres.
I think as Davidson comes in here, the Widnes have got problems. It looks as though he's going to come on the ball.
Well, he's going inside. He's gone right. He's run right into the defence.
Brave player, Kevin, isn't he?
He's got a big heart. He certainly does.
Yeah, he gives everything he's got. He doesn't shirk anything. Straight into everyone.
Real good professional. Hard as the hills.
Yeah, we usually get Australians come over here who jib it, don't we? But I mean, this lad's not. He's give everything he's got.
For a holiday.
Yeah, young
Paul Bishop has turned the ball over. Alan Tate again back inside his own goal line, but manages to scuttle out by half a metre. Plays the ball back to Rick Thackeray. Rick Thackeray now 7 metres out from his own goal line. Playing the ball back to Derek Pike. Derek Pike picks it up with one hand. Taken in the tackle by Tony Humphreys. Tony Humphreys having a good defensive game. Tony Humphries is.
Yeah, he always does. He's very good on defence, Tony. He just lacks a little bit of pace, you know, and creative.
Well, I know the lad's got plenty of pace, Rich, so he doesn't like that.
Well, he seems to lack it on the field, Kev. He
Yeah,
doesn't seem to run as hard or as fast as most of the, you know, such as like Mark Roberts. The Widnes have got the ball with Courier. Courier going on the outside, gone into touch, good tackle. Yeah, he seems to lack a little bit of when he got the ball in his hands. Maybe he's alright on the track. I mean, I've played with many a player who's a great sprinter on the track. You put a ball in their hands and you slow down by at least 5 yards.
Well, if you've got a man in front of you, certainly looking at a different situation. John Woods with the ball. David Lyons on a run around. John Woods takes the ball but doesn't commit anybody to create a space for him. Tony Thornley acting halfback. Tony Thornley, that's 2 tackles, lads. You've got to do more with the ball. Billy McGinty acting halfback, sends it to Paul Bishop. Paul Bishop to Les Davidson. This time Les is on the run, but he is still flat. Warrington attack, again pointed out by Mel, is that they are still flat. And Mark Roberts trying to push the ball. He does so and he gives it up to Widnes. Widnes with the ball through Mike O'Neill. No, this is Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill looking for someone to pass off inside, taking the ground. Plays the ball now, Mike O'Neill. David Hume scuttling to the right. And taken in the tackle by Mark Roberts and John Thursfield. Andy Currier acting half-back for Widnes. Pike going back to the blind side. Pike going back to the blind side. Ball back inside to McKenzie. And McKenzie not deciding that Richie Ayres wasn't the pass. Takes the ball in. David Hume. David Hume gives the ball to Barry Dowd. Barry Dowd finding a big gap. Putting Warrington again under pressure. Barry Dowd finding a gap big enough for a 6-ton van. The ball coming out. Imosi Colotto now puts up the ball. For the bomb goes up and Widnes with the ball. Alan Tate. Alan Tate trying to go around Paul Williamson, but slips over and it's a recount. Back to 1, Mr. Simpson declares. Barry Dowd taking the ball and tackled by Neil Harmon. Plays the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie shuttling to the short side. Andy Currier there. And Warrington defence is holding up. Tony Humphries again in the tackle. This time Widnes coming through. David Hume. Derek Pike out wide. Derek Pike not really knowing what to do. Gives the ball to Mosi Colotto, who turns the ball up for Richie Ayres, who gives it back to Derek Pike, and they've got space out here. All Mike O'Neill has to do is take the ball and scores 5 metres in from touch. Mike O'Neill, yeah. Warrington again putting themselves under pressure by trying to push silly passes that they really have no need to push, and they find themselves now a further 4 points adrift.
It stemmed from Derek Pike in the middle of the field. He stood there with nothing to do, and instead of Warrington getting at him, Kevin, they all stood and watched him. I mean, they should have been up and knocked him down. And ended up, he got the ball away. Lovely ball. Ended up with David Hume. David Hume just took the ball, well, to Richie Ayres he went first. Richie Ayres threw the ball out to David Hume. David Hume sent out a long ball with all Warrington on the inside. And an excellent try by Mike O'Neill.
Well, he had a choice. David Hume had a choice of 3 men, and Mike was just one of the 3 that was there and got the ball.
Well, that's right. I mean, Widnes were attacking in numbers. That's the main thing. And Warrington, I mean, really, they made an awful lot of mistakes in the defence in the middle of the field, especially with that up and under of Mosi Colotto. I mean, David Lyon should have made sure of that. That's his ball. I mean, if anybody puts a ball up under the post, it's a fullback's ball. He's got to go and take it. And Widnes should never come away with the ball at that particular time. But having said that, they've scored again, and it's now gone up to 16 points to 8. And Widnes are leading it, and like I said before, Kevin, I've not just read the book, I've seen the film from the first game, and it's happening all over again.
Andy Currier with the attempted gain of 2 points is not successful. So the score 16 points to 8. Warrington trailing by 8 points. John Woods with a restart. We have now something like 12 or 13 minutes of play to go. Warrington in trouble. Another replacement for Warrington. Number 10, Neil Harmon, going off, and Gary Sanderson coming on. I think Brian Johnson's looking for a bit of pace.
Yeah, Sanderson's played very well for Warrington over the last couple of years. And young Neil Harmon's had a great game today.
Yeah.
I know he's only a kid, he's only about 18, 19. He's had a great game for Warrington today. For such a young lad to be up against such a good pack as Sorensen and Pike up the front, he's done an excellent job.
Yes, he's played tremendously well over the last couple of seasons now.
It's nice to see Ronnie DeWayne back in the side, in the Warrington side, Kevin. He's had an awful lot of problems, but he's come through well today.
He's one of those players that you feel that someone's pointing the bone at, that is definitely not supposed to go anywhere.
Well, as you said, I think Sanderson will inject a bit of pace into the side. He's a very good tackler as well, so I'm sure you'll see Warrington going. Well, they've got to go all out attack. The 8 points behind, as we said, there's 12 minutes to go. It's anybody's game at the moment.
They've certainly got to do it. They've got to do something. Anyway, from the kick-off, Barry Dowd knocked the ball on, so it was a dropout under the post for Widnes. Warrington now have the ball. Billy McGinty plays the ball to Gary Sanderson. Sanderson to Bishop. Bishop sends a wide ball out to John Woods. John Woods coming back inside and again slips the ball to ground. Looking to unload John Woods, but the ball slips out of his hands and goes to ground.
Yeah, I think, John Woods is looking for people. He knows they've got to attack and people are just not backing him up. He's cutting inside, trying to create openings. And the Warrington side, they just stood and watching him, Kevin, instead of trying to get with him.
I think in that instance the space was outside and John Woods did bad to come back inside. I mean, he's putting his forwards under a tremendous amount of pressure because they've been tackling majority of the game, and he's bringing the ball back into them. Crikeys, they need as much rest as the backs do. Give the backs, the speed man outside, the opportunity to score the tries.
Well, I can't disagree with you. Being a forward yourself, Kevin, you know what it's like out there. You never stop working. And as you say, they've never stopped tackling, never stopped running hard with the ball neither. So they do deserve a little bit of a rest, and that's where the backs come in. And that's where I think Widnes are better off because they've used their backs a lot better.
Widnes with the ball. Derek Pike now tackled on his own 22. Widnes in front, 16 points to 8. Derek Pike up to play the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie to Hume. Hume to Mike O'Neill, who's again running out wide. Good, honest run by Mike O'Neill. The ball is switched back now to the short side to Barry Dowd. Barry Dowd to Andy Curry. Andy Curry sends the ball inside, and that was a yard forward.
No, it wasn't a yard, Kevin. He's only
about 4 inches.
About 2 foot.
Well, I've got a big message. I've got a big measurement. Yeah. Badly directed pass.
No answer to that.
I've got a big appetite. Anyway, Widnes with a replacement. David Marsh is the replacement. He pushes Tony Myler back out to stand off and goes onto the back of the scrum. Warrington winning the ball. A great tackle, first tackle of the match by David Marsh on Paul Williamson. John Woods, Tony Thornley now. Tony Thornley taking the ball in. I think Warrington could do with throwing the ball around with only a few minutes now of the match to go, 9 or 10 minutes. Could do with throwing the ball around, Warrington. You've got to throw the ball around. You've got nothing to lose. You're 8 points behind. John Woods now sending a dummy and running wide. The ball is out to Ronnie DeWayne. Ronnie DeWayne sends a pass to Mike Bacon, who collects it behind him. Takes the ball in and tackled by Tony Myler. Tony Myler on top. Mike Bacon playing the ball back to John Woods. John Woods, Paul Bishop, Les Davidson on a run around. There's space out wide, but Paul Bishop unable to send the pass. Les Davidson acting halfback. And it's a penalty. Pulling the ball out of the tackle. There's no need to do that, Rich. You're in front.
No, you've just got to do the basics. Just keep them contained, really. A bit silly. He's put Widnes under a lot of pressure. I know there's 8 points in front, but with trying a goal, it's anybody's. And Warrington now putting pressure on us. Got 10 yards from the line, and they're going to put off a lot of pressure. And they've run in for the first tackle. And I think
one tackle down.
Yeah, I think if they just can compose
they're not creative. Yeah.
They've got a chance.
The ball coming out wide now. Tony Thornley. Tony Thornley on a strong run. Almost standing in the tackle of McKenzie and Myler. Plays the ball back to John Woods. John Woods to Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts going on a run. Gets the ball back to John Woods, who is unable to do anything with the ball, go anywhere, because Mike O'Neill jumps on him. Paul Bishop going wide. I think there was a mix-up in calls, but Paul Bishop was taken down on the tackle. Gives it to John Woods. John Woods to John Thursfield. John Thursfield going across the field. Going nowhere, John Thursfield. Gives the ball to Tony Thornley, who's taken in a tackle of Andy Currier. John Thursfield acting up. Les Davidson holds the ball up for John Woods. Mark Roberts has got a hole. Tries to put the ball back to John Woods, but Richie Ayres comes up with the pass. Richie Ayres now coming out. 15 metres and now out from his own post. Richie Ayres plays the ball back, and Mossy Collado standing up and able to offer the ball to either side and decides to run himself. Nobody is there. Mossy Collado plays the ball. David Hume, Derek Pike bringing the ball across field. Good tackle, Warrington, but you need possession. You can't score by defending, fellas. You need the ball. Derek Pike, that's a penalty. Come on, Derek, you've been playing the game all long enough. You should know the rules now. Not happy with that. Derek, you're professional enough.
Silly mistakes this, Kevin. When you've got the ball, there's no need to take a tap to yourself and move it yourself.
No, no.
Well,
8 points in front.
Yeah, but the time ticking over, what you've got to do is you take your time getting up, you play the ball slowly, you just get away with the clock.
Les Davidson, Paul Bishop and Gary Sanderson a yard away now. Warrington a yard away from the Widnes goal line. Sanderson with the ball is unable to get up. He does so now, plays the ball back to Ronnie Dwayne. Ronnie Dwayne held up in goal, and he has the ball ripped away from him. How silly is that? Second tackle.
How many times today have we seen this happen with Warrington, Kevin? Every time they get near the line, they do something daft. They had to drop the ball, give it away, put in a daft kick, do something absolutely stupid. I mean, to get into the line, the middle from their own defence straight up to the line, the excellence. But they've got to do something about this when they get near the line. They've got to have some composure somewhere else. They're never going to win anything this year.
Well, that seems to be the case at the moment, Reg. Everyone seems to be panicking in every opportunity. The best opportunities are those that they're throwing away. Widnes with the ball now. Phil McKenzie scuttling away from the play the ball. Taking a tackle of Sanderson. David Hume to Derek Pike. Derek Pike coming away and making a good 15-12 metres. Pike up.
Had a great game today, Derek
he's
Pike.
kept going forward, hasn't he?
He took over the role when we said at half time, you know, someone's got to take over the role from Kurt Sorensen, and he's got all of it by the scruff of the neck. Pike took every ball in he's had to. He's made one or two silly mistakes, but I think that's because he's tried to do everything, I think, Kevin.
I think just about everybody on the field, Reg, has made one or two mistakes. Anyway, that's a touch ball. Mike Bacon takes it cleanly, and Martin Offia is onside. Mike Bacon, for the life of me, tries to run over the top of Martin Offia, but gets tackled. Paul Bishop acting halfback. Picks up Dave Lyons out wide, who picks up Ronnie Dwayne. Ronnie Dwayne going across field. Sends a pass out to Paul Williamson, who is unable again to take the ball. Warrington again giving up possession.
I think the only good player has been on this side is the Euchre. I think he's played better than the Euchre they've had for the last previous weeks, Kevin. This Thursfield had a great game.
He played well last week as well, but I think the week before that he couldn't beat the hooker that they had then. All the experience and speed and agility that he had, he showed in different performances. Anyway, Darren Wright now out wide. Offers the ball to Martin Offia in one hand. It's taken down by Ronnie Dwayne. Darren Wright plays the ball back to Martin Offia. Andy Currier stepping back inside Ronnie Dwayne, or outside Ronnie Dwayne, and finally taken by Mike Bacon, and Ronnie Dwayne jumps on top. Martin Offia acting halfback. Derek Pike taking it in, settling it down. He does so. Mark Roberts, he's still got the ball, gives it away to Martin Offia. Martin Offia gives the ball to David Marsh, and David Marsh unable to take the ball. It was a good pass. He should have he had space.
Good move. It's like Derek Pike started it again. L3, 2 men are on him, and he's still getting this ball away. He's still stood up. Lovely ball to Offia.
Yeah.
Offia sends a good ball out to Marsh there, and there should have been a little bit better of it from Widnes.
Derek must be as old as you, isn't he?
No, I think he's a bit.
He's as young as me, is he?
A bit younger than me and a bit older than you.
Oh, that makes him 29 then. Warrington now lost their discipline. Under pressure, I think, with 4 minutes of the match to go, there is no need for Widnes at this stage to rush things. They are 8 points in front, Warrington needing to score twice. Andy Curry has decided that he wants to take a shot at goal, and with the money he's on for successful shots at goal, I don't blame him. I'd shoot from all over the field if I was on the money that he was on.
Yeah, it's a wise decision by Currier. With time ticking away, the one thing you don't want to do is give Warrington the ball. As well as that, it'll take about a minute and a half to take this kick. It's all ticking away. I mean, in this first division, as you know, Kevin, being part of it, well, these 2 points make a hell of a difference at the end of the season. And if you can get over Christmas and get a few points away from teams, you know, this is where it all stems for winning the championship.
Well, at the end of the day, the treasure trove is the side with the most points, and obviously the 2 points do add up. And if he is successful with this, it means that Widnes, now go 10 points in front. The score 18 points to 8. Andy Currier picks up a treasure trove of pennies for that successful shot at goal.
There's a touch of jealousy creeping into your
my comments.
Your comments, Kevin. And not that you've been biased all afternoon. I think.
No, well, you know,
especially when you're cheering, "Come on now, lads." You know, I don't think you're that biased, really. I don't think you're all that happy about losing money, neither.
No, it's not that. I just like to see our guys win. Alan Tate coming away from his own line with the ball, tackled by Ronnie Dwayne. Martin off here. He hasn't had many runs today, and those that he has had have only been 4 or 5 metre scurries. Plays the ball Mackenzie to Pike. Pike again, pushing off Ronnie Dwayne. Tackled in a good tackle by Mike Bacon. And again, the old man of the game up and takes his time to play the ball. Marsh sends a big ball out to us, well taken.